Iusog natin mga ito dito.
Oo nga. Nawala sa video. Naglalag sir. Tulog na si ate ko.
Dito mo siya papatayin. I-end stream mo muna na
Hindi ko tutulog habang nag-ano ako.
Dito natin. Okay. I-on ko na.
Yan. I-on ko lang no, tapos ito. Hindi ko na. Hanap diba? Hi guys! Merry Christmas! Welcome to my first live stream. My name is Jonah. I am this person slash Miss Creepypasta. This is my first live stream, so I don't really know that much about live streaming. So I hope you guys would help me out and please interact with me on the comments or the live chat. By the way, this is my dog. Hi, I'm sorry. Her name is Hachiko, and I'm going to read scary stories for her so that she don't fall asleep. But I think she's already asleep here. So I hope you guys would hear me out as I read some scary stories. By the way, I'm gonna read some creepypasta stories first. Then I'm gonna try reading some true Philippine ghost stories later on. It's kind of boring. Okay. So, oh, by the way, let me first check. Can you guys hear me okay? Uh, mm, I hope I can read some comments. If somebody even watching. Okay. Let me just try. I think it's working fine. Yeah. So I'm gonna start reading now. My first story here is a creepypasta titled I Wrote a Santa as a Kid. He wrote that since it's Christmas time. Okay, so without further ado, I'll start. My school had a yearly tradition around Christmas. Teachers would rally all the students about a small town to write a letter to Santa. The teachers all collaborated and emphasized to us that they knew Santa's real address and what we wrote would be sent to him. I don't know whether my parents never religiously drilled the idea of Santa into me or if I was a weird kid, but throughout my childhood, I never believed he was real. So I always felt this idea of entertaining this letter stream was below me. This is just a silly way for the teachers to get kids excited for the holidays. In school, I was one of the rough kids. I got in fights a lot, and the majority of the other students would avoid me. Even teachers had an apprehension of being around me. Feared my temperament was not limited to just kids. Insight helped me brave it, but at the time, I thought it was everyone else who were weird. I attribute all this to my uncle and what he did. He was rude. When my parents weren't around, which was a lot, he was the one to look after me. During those many nights, he would be rough with me, making me try beer, telling me about illicit things I was woefully ignorant to ignore, all for the delusional that he was making me proud, when in reality, it made me closed off, only able to express my emotions through violence and hate. This year, I never participated writing the letters. When I did, I'd often just scribble insults or crude doodle, but every so often I'd notice something. A handful of kids would come back after Christmas break, raving that Santa brought them what they asked for. They would talk about how Santa left them a letter saying they were special kids that year and got their wildest dreams to life. Kids from poor families got the latest console. Lonely children got the path of their dreams. One kid even claimed his mother's illness was taken away by Santa. In my pessimistic attitude, I just drummed it up to the schools, where the teachers gave the letters to their parents. Another reason I never took part in writing a letter. Feared my uncle would get wind and would judge me for what I secretly desired. The pattern was undeniable. Kids were getting what they wanted. In some way, if it worked for me, the letter sent to my parents was an interesting way to slyly let on what my uncle was doing, to tip off my parents at what was going on behind their back. Also avoid a lesson drilled into me by my uncle that snitches get stitches. Literally. A mantra which kept me quiet for far too long. One year, I grabbed a pen and hand-pictured a simple letter. I apprehensively wrote that I never wanted to see my uncle again, that I wished Santa would take him away. I finished the note off also asking for a puppy. I was a kid who didn't want a puppy at that age, something my parents never knew, since wanting a pet was girly, according to my uncle. When some of the more outspoken kids confronted me at the idea of participating in such an event, I was so vocal again. I simply told them I wrote the nastiest letter to the head teacher. I told wild details that had the kids roiling in laughter, in a way adding to my persona, a metaphor for the facade I had built up. Christmas came around. Everything happened as they did every year. A dysfunctional family dinner and the awkwardly quiet opening of spotless gifts. Despite the ritual not changing, I was broken. I berated myself for hoping the little hope I had left, only for it to be wasted. From beyond, my life was turbulent. I had basically lost all my friends, all for many years after I lost friends, ruined relationships, and threw away opportunities, all because of my attitude. Inside, I never felt like a bad person, but it was how I expressed myself. And then something amazing happened. Someone saw that. My first long lasting relationship was with someone that understood how I felt inside. He was very patient. He has to be. He stood by me through many rough years, something I commend him for. Though I didn't see it at the time, my life with her were the best years I could ask for. Sadly, it didn't last forever. As time grinded away at the relationship, my moving attitude keeping me still as a rock as she moved forward in life. Eventually, the distance was too much. and she had no choice but to leave. It was her leaving that finally slipping left a wake-up call. I hated how I became a slave to myself, always saying I wanted to change, but never truly lifting myself from my spot and taking the necessary step forward. Admittedly, I started seeking professional help in hopes of winning my broken back. But after starting, I couldn't stop. As soon as, as soon I was doing it for myself and no one else. This is not to say it wasn't easy. Family gatherings brought everything back. I had a reputation, and I was terrified to break it. But privately, I was starting to edge out of my shell. I started with therapy sessions, opening up about everything. After keeping it inside for too long, released so much tension, I found myself setting fears, something unheard of about me if you knew who I was. Fixing personalities is hard when surrounded by people who know you as a certain way. So I chose to some online apps to meet people who didn't know me. Fresh thought. To contrast my life, I chose events and activities that I made fun of throughout my early years. I met up to play video games instead of drinking beer that I secretly hated in rock bars. I spent time learning the game Magic the Gathering rather than poker nights that always ended with a little scuffle. Hell, I even did D&D. To my surprise, I started feeling something I hadn't felt for as long as I could remember, the warm feeling of joy. I had missed that my whole life. I had missed that my whole life. I always knew it was me. And I was saddened somewhat by how long it took to come out. But that was overshadowed by the bellowing feeling I now had. I used this energy. I took to amending things with the people I hurt through social media like Facebook and Twitter. I hunted down the people I wronged throughout my school life and now. Some moved far away, so I could only message them. Often they initially thought I was messing with them, in complete disbelief that I even contemplated showing a softer side. Some unfortunately didn't accept my apologies, something I understood and settled on the notion that I tried. I became a new person. That is the year when my uncle went missing. It was out of nowhere, around mid-winter. He was healthy, active, and up to his usual shenanigans. So it was a shock when I received the call that he never came back from one of his night out. Searches were made, posters were found, and notices were sent. However, no trace was ever found. It was like he disappeared into thin air. Christmas was not long after, and things were initially quiet. An empty seat remained heavy on the family's mind. I could see the family was not asleep, so I did something unexpected. I took initiative. Christmas was not long after, and things were initially quiet. An empty seat weighing heavy on the family's mind. I could see the family. I started reading the jokes from the Christmas crackers we told before our meal. At first, my family were shocked, but soon joined in. I heard something I hadn't heard from my family for a long time. Genuine laughter. We played the kids' games afterwards, despite being told to bring with Christmas dinner. I made a fool of myself, and I thanked my parents for not making a big deal out of it. I was a changed man. In the end of the night, we opened our presents. Most gifts were thoughtless as usual, remnants of how Christmas used to be. However, my gift lit up the room. Each one carried a level of thoughtfulness. Things never changed there. Feelings I kept inside for so long materialized and displayed for all to see. Something we all picked up on and vowed to plot for next year. The last gift was an odd written box with my name on it, topped with a small envelope. Some thought it was from my uncle before he disappeared, though I doubted it as he never really got me anything to it. I started with a card, written in the cleanest cursive I'd ever seen. It was addressed directly to me. The message was pleased with thought of how good I was that year, and this shows that I got everything I had asked for. I started to think it was from one of my childhood classmates that I reconnected with. My heart jumped off to my throat when I heard noise sounds around the side. But years of cultivating a hardened composure, the sounds I heard froze me for a moment. Panicked, I ripped open the package and looked down. As two adorable bright lights stared back at me and barked. And that again is I wrote the Santa as a kid, today wrote that. Okay, so we're gonna read another story. So we have yes, this story, The Church Basement by R. Flash Note and The Church Basement. I spent the majority of my junior year of high school working as a janitor for a local church in the city. While I leave the church unnamed, I can tell you that it's a very old church. Old enough to the point where most of the facilities like plumbing, air conditioning were installed after the place was first built. I've never even gotten a straight answer on how old the building is, and it seems that no one on the spot is old enough to have been alive when it was built. The oldest person that worked there is the other janitor, Harry. Every time I've asked him how old the building is, he always just tells me that it's older than him. He also loves to tell me those stories about the building, that it was built on burial grounds and others history. I've done as much research as I can on the place, and I can tell you with no certainty that it was not built on any kind of burial ground or cemetery. But with all the research I've done, I still haven't found an explanation for what happened. While I was employed at the church, my main job was to clean up at the end of the day, along with Harry. Difference being Harry cleaned the main floor and I had to clean the basement. The basement of the church consisted of a furnace room and a long hallway lined with children's classrooms on either side. At one end of the hallway were the stairs, and the other end led to the furnace. Let's just say the walls were less than soundproof. So when the furnace was running, it got pretty damn loud in the hallway. The worst part about the hallway was that when the electric lights were installed, some genius thought it was a great idea to put an only switch by the furnace room on the opposite end of the hall from the stairs. It was the middle of December, so the sun set around 6:30. I cleaned the basement at 8 o'clock. The only windows were really small ones at the top of the walls were plastic, level with the ground outside. They were rarely cleaned, so even if it was still light out, not much sunlight was in. But occasionally, a passing car headlight would shine in at night. Every Sunday night, I went from classroom to classroom, cleaning up any mess that had been left behind. Swept the hallway and picked up and sprang. This particular night, I'd taken longer than usual because the kids got a bloody nose in one of the classrooms, and I had the wonderful job of getting the steam out of the rug. I normally got done cleaning around 9 o'clock, but because of the bloody rug, I was done at 9:45. When I was done cleaning, I locked the classroom, made sure the furnace was running, as if the loud rumbling noise wasn't evident enough, and was ready to turn the lights off. A month or so back, I had advised Ray by turning the lights off from the opposite end of the hall, so I didn't have to walk. I often run through the dark. I got a really long piece of string and tied a loop at the end that I could then hook onto the light switch and pull from the other end of the hallway. It worked pretty well for the most part, but not this time. I had the string looped onto the switch, ready to pull it from the bottom of the stairs. As I pulled it and the light turned off, something strange happened. Right as the hallway went dark, the furnace turned off. I was submerged into complete silence, and I got a big startle at the sudden last note. I mumbled a few expletives under my breath, as I assumed the furnace had gotten torn up somehow. I ran through all the reasons the furnace could have gone out in my mind, and decided that some electric had blown something from the light being turned off. I wasn't much of an electrician, so that was the most logical thing I thought of. The electricity in the building was pretty rusty and cheap anyway. I started to pull the string back, but it got caught and wouldn't budge. I assumed it got caught on a switch, which I thought was weird because it had never gotten stuck before. I'd been using that trick for at least a month and had never had a problem with the string getting caught, and had especially never had the furnace turn off because of it. I pulled on the spring a little harder to try and pull it loose. It gave for a second, then tightened again. Confused, I pulled it slower. It raised and lowered a bit as I pulled it, as if someone was holding the other end. I felt my heart drop into my stomach and was paralyzed for a bit before I came to my senses. I dropped the string and back towards the door to the stairs, feeling for the doorknob behind me. As I saw the doorknob, I glanced down at the string and saw that it was noticeably farther away than where I dropped it. Then I witnessed it jerking even more. It was then I was certain someone was holding the other end. I wasn't alone. in the basement. I looked back up, ready what I might see. I looked for a second, seeing nothing but plasma. Then I heard a car approach the building, and its headlights pierced the dark, and illuminated what I had hoped not to see. A gray figure dressed in a ratty brown coat with dark hair that looked like dried seaweed covering most of his face. He had been looking down at the chimney that he was gathering into his hand, like bright as the hall lit up. He looked at me with a harsh scowl and a look of truth I will never forget. As the car moved away from the light and the light began to disappear, the last thing I saw was that thing starting to move towards me. I opened the door behind me and bolted up the stairs, moving faster than I thought I could. I fumbled for my keys to hold it up so I could lock the door up. As soon as I reached the top, I heard the door open at the bottom of the stairs. I slammed the door, locked it, and started to run out of the door. I stopped when I noticed Harry, one of the keys, and turned towards him. He asked me what was wrong, and I told him that there was someone downstairs and that we needed to leave as soon as possible. We both turned towards the door to the basement as we heard the door rattle. Whatever had been in the basement was at the top of the stairs, trying to get to us. I was glad that I had locked the door. The thing tried to open it a few times before seemingly giving up. All Harry and I could do was stare, wondering what would happen. Then the door started to shake violently as the thing desperately tried to get through. It yanked and pulled hard on the nose with one hand and banged on the door with the other in some effort to break. Harry and I darted towards the entrance to the building, not looking back until we were closing the front door. As we were shutting the door, I got one last look into the building. I heard the crunch of wood breaking and saw the thing emerge into the main hall from the basement door. Harry and I slammed the front door, locked it, and gone. We weren't sure where we were running or where we were trying to go, but we kept running until we couldn't feel our feet. We found a restaurant that was open and asked to use the phone. We asked what had happened, and we just told them we needed to call the police. They obliged, and the police arrived within a few minutes. Harry and I told them what had happened at the scene of the church, and they gave us a ride back, assuring our safety. We were asked to wait in the police cruiser while they checked the building. After about 10 minutes of waiting, they came back and said they didn't find anything or anyone, but that the knob had been ripped off the basement door. They brought us inside to see for ourselves that no one was there. Sure enough, the basement door indicated, and the knob had been broken out of its place and left on the floor, surrounded by splinters. I asked an officer if he had searched the basement, and he said that he had. I asked if I could go back down and if one of them could come with me. The officer agreed, and he led me slowly down the stairs. As we approached the bottom, I noticed that the hallway light was on. I asked the officer if he had turned it on, and said that it was already on when he searched the basement. I knew the age felt even more easy than before I slowed down. The officer noticed and asked if I was okay. I told him that I was fine and I kept going. I tried to reassure myself that everything was fine, that whatever had been down here was down. When we reached the bottom, I noticed that one of the classrooms at the end of the hall was open and the light was on. I asked the officer if he had opened it. He said no. It was locked and the light was off when he searched earlier. He took out his pistol and walked cautiously towards the room and stayed close behind him. And I stood close behind him, looking over my shoulder every now and then, my keeping an eye on the other classroom doors. As he got closer to the door, he moved slower and slower until he finally reached the room. He held his gun, ready to shoot anything and anyone that was in that room, and peered inside. There was no one there. At first we thought there was nothing, but we felt a cool breeze and heard talk. We both noticed that the window at the top of the wall was broken. As I looked down from the window, I noticed something else. Bundled up on the floor below the window was my friend. Next, we got our second story. So let's check another story here. So our third story is titled People Go Missing on the Night Shift. He tried to save me. It was my first night shift. Working extra at the gas station is pretty far from every block home, but it pays the bills. I was hell-bent on not having another opportunity slip out of my hands because of money. Once my investment and a move to Minneapolis, and I would have had a six-figure salary now, but I just couldn't find the funds. So there I was, stuck in the crowd at the gas station. Money is money, and there's going to be a future still around, I figured. I'd worked a few days day shifts before, so I knew the place well enough. However, I've never been left alone for the night shift before. This was the first time I'd be completely unsupervised. Zeta, my supervisor, was about to take off for the night. She kept repeating the same instructions over and over. Then again, this place had huge turnover, new issues. Honestly forgot I wasn't that new. No phones. The early. If you got a slow night, make yourself useful. Nod and smile. I decided to get the worst task out of the way early. Cleaning the bathroom, restocking the freezers, taking out the trash, packing the receipt rolls, watering the plants, sitting about an hour. It wasn't even midnight yet, and I was pretty much done for the night. I considered mopping the floor, but I figured I could save that for later. I'd been used to it. I was on my fourth stream of simplified practice when I realized I'd forgotten my name tag. No big deal, really, but figured I might have felt better. The manager's office was usually locked, but tonight I had the keys to it. I opened the door and started going through the drawers. It didn't take long to find the name tag. There was an entire box of them. At first, I thought they were all friends, but I started going through them. I realized they were all previous employees. So this place had high turnover, but this, we were talking 100 people. This was ridiculous. I admit this is where I started asking myself some questions. During the recess, during the recess, there was always someone new, someone being trained or interviewed. I had only been there for about a week, and I was already feeling like a veteran. The only people who seemed to be regulars were the managers, Ada, Kennedy, and Alyssa. They seemed Mr. Enough. So why were so many people clicking? As I got back behind the register, I realized there was a customer outside, literally just outside the door. I raised the phone, but there was something off. They were just standing there. They were so close that the automated door should have opened, and yet the door remained closed. It was a man, late 30s, scratchy beard, rough red shirt. There was something liquid, something bloodshot eyes, and a natural sound. He just stared at me. I gazed at him again, but I got no response. Can I help you? I called out. Nothing. Not a blink. I pulled out a chair and sat down. The man stood outside, looking in. I tried not to think about it, but it was bothering me. I couldn't see his car anywhere on the cameras, and he didn't seem to want anything. I couldn't tell if he was on drugs or just being weird. I gave him a few minutes, but he just stood there. Finally, I got up from my chair. Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. He didn't seem to listen. He was a bit shorter than me, but he had a good 50 pounds on him. He'd be trouble in a bed. I don't want to call the police, I said. Can I help you, sir? I pulled out my phone and held it up for him to see. I dialed the number, and then my phone rang. Unknown caller. It was just past midnight. Without letting the unnerving man out of my sight, I took the call. Yeah? I answered. Please don't hang up, the voice on the other end said. You're in danger, and I can help. I was getting nervous. I wondered exactly where that Sanders, bloodshot eyes following. Who is this? I asked. I'm Angie, the voice was upon me. I used to work there, team shift, team manager. I wanted to warn you. I'd seen an empty tag in the box earlier, maybe even several. He sounded wrong and nervous as all hell. In a few hours, something terrible is gonna happen, he continued. And if you're not out by then, you might as well be dead. What are you talking about? Look outside. I've been looking outside this entire time, but I've been entirely focused on this one man outside the front door. From across the road, I could see more people, about a dozen. lumbering out of the room. I need you to leave, he said. Just walk out. Nothing will happen if we both walk away. Nothing will come to you. But who are these people? What's going to happen? I don't know what. Look, he interrupted. It is perfectly simple. Just walk out the door. Something is screamed for me not to do it. But I should have stepped outside and walked past these people. They felt malicious, and I couldn't put my finger on why. Still, I stepped up to the door, leaving seemed the obvious choice. Painfully, it didn't open. It won't open, I said. Hold on. They, they want to keep you in there. They don't want you to leave. They want you to stay and die. Die? I asked. What do you mean? I stopped at my playpen. Something was wrong. Was I locked in? Tell me exactly what is about to happen, I demanded. Something in there with you, and she said. It could be 5 minutes, it could be a few hours, but that thing in there is coming for you. And what thing are we talking about? The man with the bloodshot eyes had two people joining him. A young man with a grotesque overbite, and a young woman who could easily be mistaken for a child. All of them stared at me with between broken eyes and rough clothes. They stopped, simply short of the front door. It doesn't have a name, Nancy said, but it will leave you empty. It'll leave you like the people out front. But if I leave, I'll be okay? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Hold on, I'll check the box. I hurried out back to the employee entrance. I pressed down the cold handle and the door swung open. Outside were another group of four people, two young men, an older woman, and a girl no more than 16 years old. They all stared at me. I couldn't tell if they were drawn to me or the store. I stopped short of stepping through the door. Why do why did they come here? I asked Angie. They serve their master. They want the spoils. What spoils? I thought about it. He was talking about me. Right, I said, nodding to myself. I said, are you at the back door? Are you there yet? Yeah, I'm fine. Just walk out, whispered. It's not too late. I was about to walk out when a thought hit me. Why would they lock? Why would they lock the front door, but not the back? That didn't make any sense. If the purpose was to keep me here, they could easily barricade the back as well. Something didn't add up. The door is open, I said. Hey, you can still make it. But why wouldn't they lock the back door, Andrew? He hesitated, and there was a brief pause. If they're locking me in here for certain, why wouldn't they lock the back door? I repeated. I don't know, he said, but you have to trust me. They gave me the keys, Andrew. They go everywhere. I can lock and unlock this door 100 times. What's going on? They they don't usually do that. I closed the door and stepped back, four less fearful eyes staring at me. Look, said Angie. I was the last person to leave. I found a spare key and got out before it was too late. Maybe, maybe they figured I'd wrong you. Maybe they're trying to trick you. Sure, yeah. I thought, convenient. I'm trying to help you, she cried out. Those things out there are to discourage you from going outside. They're harmless, but they're there to scare you. Can't you see it? It is all just a way for them to keep you in there. I got one person screaming at me to go outside, and no one telling me to stay. No locked doors, just plenty of trees staring at me. What am I supposed to believe? Fine. You want more proof? Call the police. Hang up and call them. I ended the call. There were 8 people out front by now, all gathering outside the front door. I couldn't tell if they were trying to get in, or if they were waiting for me to step outside. I called the emergency services, only to be met with silence, not even a dial tone, just a blank message. I tried, I tried a few more numbers. My mom, my friends, I tried going online, but all I got was copies of sites I'd been to before. My background picture had changed to a black screen, but there was something else, something that started to smell. The freshly cut frozen goods had suddenly gone bad, and a stench was oozing out of the freezers. Our flowers and counters had withered and died, all except the sunflower, which could turn a sickly blue. I wasn't getting through to anyone. Being inside was awful. Single serving frozen meals were making me feel so bad. I figured I'd go for the landline. As I got in the manager's office, I got another call on my phone. Unknown callers. Looking back and forth between my phone and the landline, I weighed my options. I felt empty. How are you getting through? I asked her. How do you know my number? I still got the email password. I just checked the application. But how come your number works? Everything else is down. I'm calling from a private network, he said. They don't know there's a way in. Really? I asked. I thought it was just one thing. No, they're working together. People don't just go missing without someone noticing. But there's like an intelligence behind it, a conspiracy. Yeah, people come and go in these places all the time. Are they pulling you under the table? They figured it's the start of a fire and no paperwork, no missing people, no records, just a box of names. It made sense in a way, but I needed more. I needed proof. There had to be something. Why didn't you call me earlier? I asked. You could have called me as soon as I got the job, or as soon as my shift started. I had to make sure Rita wasn't around, he said. She would have tried to trick you. I'm not sure you're not trying to trick me. Why would I spend my time calling you from across the country just to have you clear? She explained. If I was a part of it, I would have just let you sit there with me, since I tactics and die. She went quiet. So did I. I counted my breath as I looked outside. There were more than there are. How did you know I was a plane? I asked. She didn't whisper. The silence hung in the air. I'm asking you, how did you know what I was saying? She was just as quiet as a man with a bloodshot eye, still waiting for me outside the door. You're watching. We knew I was alone. We knew I was getting antsy about the guy showing up outside. Yeah, exactly. He tried to get me out as soon as he showed up. He tried to trick me before there were too many of them to scare me off. That's not, he said. I could hear heavy breathing. As I paced back and forth, I was getting ready to hang up. This was the trick. He was the one freaking me, clearly, trying to get me outside to join those things. I know this looks bad. I know this looks bad, he said. I know. I'm sorry. I'm honestly just trying to help you. This time, I was the one keeping quiet. I walked out the door, studying the people outside. Blank stares, following my every move. I felt like a quick army. What they could snap out of it and tear me apart in the blink of an eye. As I said, I have the password for everything. I'm the only one who knows them. I just wanted to give you the best shot at getting out of there. I hoped they wouldn't come tonight, but even if they did, I just had to do something. They're not being honest with me. They're not lying. I'm just having a hard time explaining it. There's a lot of things about this that all sounds completely insane. I don't want to throw you off the deep end. The eviction is free. I demand. Tell me what the hell is punishment? Not a thing. Like, not real. It's there, but it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just so true. That you what? The world, there, a ripple in time or something. It just steps in and it's there. And then it shoves this kind of mouth pipe into your head and regardless of something inside. A mouth pipe? What the hell are you? Yes, a pipe. And no, I mean, it goes into your mouth. It doesn't have a mouth of its own. It just goes into you and it's on. Game over. I didn't know what to think. My mind was a jumbled mess, and I felt my pulse bouncing and falling. There were even people outside in various states of disarray, all of them just staring at me. If I just step out, if I just step outside, I'd know for sure. What does it look like? Is it the lights flicker? There was a loud clang, a buzz, and then an electric failure. One of the fluorescent lights turned out, while the others just slowly vanished to nothing. It was real. It was me for grace by this point. Something was happening. The light turned out. I whispered, "Is this now?" Fifteen. Get up now. I ran. I tripped and tumbled my way into the back room in complete darkness. I almost twisted my ankle and I bumped into my nuts, blunt table. I could barely hear myself, and I had to remind myself to breathe. The roof of my mouth ached, as if anticipating a piercing pain. I could feel my head spinning with blood and adrenaline as my dry eyes refused to blink. As I put my hand on the back door, I did the mistake of pulling instead of pushing. It took me 3 tries before a thought hit me. I couldn't see the signs on the door because of the darkness. In fact, I couldn't see nothing. Frankly, I used putting my phone to my ear. You there? Hurry. You can make it. How did you see it? The thing was huge and just no, no. How did you see it in complete darkness? You said the lights went out. It was right there. I can't even see the sign on the back door. How the hell did you see it hide? Look, and to add to that, how the hell do you know what it does with that spot? You've never seen the thing kill. You said you were the last one to work this year, and the thing sure as hell didn't kill you. You're missing the point. It doesn't add up, Andy. None of this adds up. You couldn't have seen it, and there's no way for you to know how it feels. I stood there in the dark. I heard Andrew panting on the other side, snatching his breathing. You're lying to me, Andrew. You're not trying to save me. He stopped breathing. For about a minute, it was just quiet. The call ended. A wave washed over me. I was either dead or asleep. There was no in between. I was moments from finding out. Every little sound took me. A breeze just outside, a crackling wire, ventilation pregnant to turn back on. I hadn't even noticed my hand was on the door handle. You lied to me, I said out loud. You, you did. I caught you. There was a sound coming from the other side of the door, the shuffling of feet. Yes, said Angie, from the other side of the door. I must have stood there for an hour until the power came back on. The people outside were gone. Angie was gone. My phone worked just fine. So I called everyone with a surprise for help. The police found me locked in the bathroom in a full panic. I barely even remember being escorted out. Cameras had picked up a mob gathering outside. But this was pretty much it. They couldn't be identified from the back of their head. Veda and the other managers were called in, and they seemed just genuinely surprised. I feel I've been yesterday. 100 people starting and quitting their job in a place like that is not uncommon. People go, people come and go all the time. The managers honestly didn't know why people disappeared. It seems. Maybe this is just how things work. Or maybe there's more than one entry out there, bringing on short-term workers. And the front door, there was no conspiracy there. The thing just stamped sometimes and kind of covered with the lighting. If I had rested just a bit more, the thing could have kicked wide open. That broken door was the only thing that saved me from joining them last night. I would have walked right out as soon as Angie asked me to. I worked there for another 4 months, but just different on weekends. The night shift seemed to go off without a quick spill. Maybe Angie and her friends moved on from evening meal. I'd saved up enough money for my niece in Minneapolis, but I'd never forgive myself if I didn't put this into writing. Looking back, it feels surreal. There are things out there, things that want us to join them. And alright, so I'll be reading True Philippine Ghost Stories next, but let me just take a short break. Tawa na lang.
Madami ng tama.
Yep,
Patayin ba?
yep.
Bakit?
Laki na ba?
Mga 12
As in? Bakit eh? Nilakatan ko lang yung boses niya.
Ano sa'yo natin kasi?
Shit, oo nga. Bakit eh?
Ito na. Siguro ko.
Sa likod ko kasi din, nahirapan ako. Eh, useless hearing yung pinag-live ko. Or in live ko na.